Hi everyone, I'm Yolanda. Welcome to my channel. And today's tutorial, I will be dedicating it to all the mothers out there, since this Sunday, May 8th, is Mother's Day here in the United States. So I'm making a Dominican cake for all the mothers out there. And if you do not live in the United States, I dedicate it to you as well. So let's get started. I have listed all the ingredients and all the measurements for a 1 pound Dominican cake in the information window of this video. We will need granulated sugar, liquid, which can be milk, juice, or water with vanilla. Also, all-purpose flour with baking powder and salt. And here in my mixing bowl I have butter, which I have cut into small pieces, only because I like to help my mixer. So that's going to be used for the cake as well. Also, these egg yolks, I have separated the egg yolks from the egg whites as follows. For egg whites, which I'm going to beat later on and then add it to the batter. The rest of the egg whites I'm going to refrigerate, because this is what I'm going to be using to make my Italian meringue. I have creamed the sugar and the butter, and now I have stopped my mixer so that I could scrape the sides of the bowl. Then I'm going to turn the mixer back on again and continue creaming. But first, I like to show you how the butter is turning lighter, almost white. I started with the yellowish color butter, and as I have creamed, the butter and the sugar is turning kind of white. And to continue, here are my egg yolks and also my 4 egg whites. I beat them and they are ready to go. They formed a soft peaks, which is what I was looking for. Now I am going to add, at a low speed, I'm going to add my egg yolks, one by one. You should always add them one by one. You should always add one, mix a little, then add another one, and so forth. Once again, I've stopped the mixer and now I'm scraping the sides of the bowl. It is very important that we do this. That way all of our ingredients get mixed in well. The next step is to add the dry ingredients and the liquids to the butter and the sugar. We are going to alternate dry ingredients and liquid. We are going to start with dried ingredients and we are going to finish with dry ingredients. Let me remind you that we are mixing at a low speed. And last, we are going to fold the egg whites into the batter. And as soon as I finish folding in the egg whites, I'm going to divide the batter into two cake pans 10 by 3. These pans have already been prepared, and I'm going to wrap around a band made out of aluminum foil to prevent the sides of the cake from turning hard, since these cake pans are very thin. And I'm going to bake them for 35 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is one of my cakes. I took it out like 5 minutes ago, and I want to see if when I touch it, it is soft to the touch. And it is. That means that the cake is moist and soft in the inside. And since it is still warm, I'm going to cover it so that way it is going to sweat, and the sweat is going to make the cake even more moist in the inside. And then once I cover it with plastic, I'm going to put it in a plastic bag, and I'm going to freeze my cake until tomorrow. Notice how the cake is starting to sweat already. That is good because that's going to make the cake even more moist. Here is one of my cakes that I took out from the freezer maybe 20 to 30 minutes ago. I now need to level my cake. To begin, I'm going to look for the lowest part of the cake, and I'm going to start from there, just going around and marking with the knife where I need to cut. And then what you are going to do is just push the cake against the knife. Once you do that, the cut will be easy. And then if there is any more cutting that you need to do in the middle, so just go ahead and do that, just like I'm doing here. And your cake will be perfectly leveled. Simple syrup is used for different reasons. One of the reasons is to add extra moisture into the cake. Another reason is to add flavoring into the cake. I'm using it to add flavoring. To the simple syrup, I have added some coconut extract by the Wilton Corporation, also some coconut liquor. So my cake is going to have a coconut flavor to it, which is what I'm looking for. So right now I'm going to drizzle over the cake the simple syrup, and I'm going to let the cakes soak in the simple syrup for about 20 minutes. For the filling of this cake, I'm going to use some red raspberries preserve. This is very good to use as filling. You can buy any brand that you like. It doesn't need to be this brand. I am going to use that for my cake. And if you can find fresh raspberries, and if you want to make the filling with fresh raspberries, that will be even better. But in the meantime, I'm going to use this one. As you can see, the preserve is kind of liquidy, it's kind of soupy. And so if I put it just like that on the cake, when I put the other cake on top, it's going to is going to come out from the sides. So I need to first make my meringue, and then I'm going to create like a retaining wall around the cake before I place my filling on my cake. So let's get started with the meringue. I have made tutorials on how to make meringue, and I have not used a thermometer, but this time, for the benefit of those who really need to use a thermometer, I'm going to use one for this tutorial. For the benefit of those that are still having problems making a meringue, I like to do this one step by step. The first thing that we are going to do is pour into a medium size saucepan half a cup of water. Then to that we are going to add 2 cups of sugar, granulated sugar that is, and we are going to stir until the sugar gets covered by the water. And now we are going to take our candy thermometer, put it in the saucepan, and put the saucepan aside for now. In my mixing bowl, I'm going to put in 1 cup of egg whites. These are the same egg whites that I have reserved from when I separated the egg yolks and the egg whites. Remember that I used 4 for the cake, and now the rest I'm going to use to make my meringue. To that I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of meringue powder. I'm also adding 1 tablespoon of white vanilla. 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, and half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Both the meringue powder and the cream of tartar are used to stabilize the meringue. Always try to add either cream of tartar or meringue powder to your meringue, especially if the conditions in your house is humid. To recap, the ingredients that are going into our mixing bowl to make our meringue are egg whites, meringue powder, cream of tartar, vanilla, and granulated sugar. Very good, so now we are in my kitchen. I am going to turn on the stove and I'm going to start boiling the sugar and the water. When the candy thermometer reaches 220 degrees Fahrenheit, then I am going to start the mixing bowl that has the egg whites and the other ingredients. But I need to wait until the temperature of the syrup reaches 220 degrees Fahrenheit. I will come back to you as soon as it happens. Okay, so now the temperature of the syrup has reached 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it is time for me to go over the mixer and start the mixing bowl with the egg whites and all the rest of the ingredients. So I'm just going to switch over here to where the mixing bowl is, and I'm going to turn on the switch to start the process. I'm going to continue whisking the egg whites until the temperature of the syrup reaches 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so now my syrup has reached 230 degrees Fahrenheit. If you look at the spoon when I scoop up some of the syrup and I let it drop, it looks like a fine piece of thread going down. This is what I'm looking for. So that means that the syrup is ready to be poured into the egg whites that are still whisking in the mixer. So let's do that. Let's take this over to the mixer and just pour it into the egg whites. Now the way we are going to pour in the syrup is gotta be little by little. We do not want the syrup to touch the bottom of the mixing bowl. We want the syrup to be kind of on the surface of the egg whites. Do not let the syrup go down to the bottom of the mixing bowl, because what's going to happen is it's going to harden at the bottom of the bowl. So you must pour in the syrup very slowly and very carefully. Now, after I have poured all the syrup into the egg whites, I'm going to let that whisk until the bowl is cool to the touch. And this will take more or less 12 to 14 minutes. That's how long it usually takes me, 12 to 14 minutes. It might take you a little longer or a little less, but as long as the bowl is cool to the touch, that's what counts. Well, my mixing bowl is cool to the touch, it's completely cool. And now I am going to remove the mixing bowl from the mixer. And as you can see, the meringue has decreased in volume. It has decreased in volume, but this is natural. A lot of people, they get upset because the meringue decreases in volume, but that's okay, because what happens is once you pour in the syrup, all the air is coming out, and so of course it's going to decrease in volume, but that's fine as long as the consistency of the meringue is like this one, that is hard for the meringue to fall off the spatula. Look at that. That's a good meringue. It's fine even if it decreases in volume, because with this consistency you won't even have to put a crumb coat on your cake. That's how good this is. So if the consistency of your meringue is like this one, that means that you made an awesome meringue. Now at this point you can add color to the meringue, which is what I'm going to do right now. I like to add some pink color, and I'm going to do that right now. And the meringue will still, even with adding the color, the meringue is not going to change its consistency. So do not be afraid to add any color that you like. All you need to do is whisk again so the color can get mixed in with the meringue, and that's all. To retain the filling inside of the cake, I'm going to use tip number 22, and meringue. And I'm going to pipe a retaining wall or a dam to retain the filling inside. And now it's time for me to cover my cake. I'm going to take a lot of the meringue to cover the cake, starting from the top and then working my way down around the sides. With this meringue, there is no need to first cover the cake with a crumb coat. This is very thick, so this does not need a crumb coat. Use a wet spatula to smooth out all the imperfections on the cake. Use the spatula, smooth out the cake, clean it, and use it again. And now it's time for me to decorate my cake with lots and lots of flowers. For a tutorial on how to make these flowers, check out the information window of this video. These roses can be placed directly on the cake because they were made on a toothpick, and toothpicks are food grade. But to add any flower or roses or leaves that have been wired and wrapped with florist tape, you need to put some flower spikes first. Do not place the wires wrapped with florist tape directly onto your cake. This will contaminate your cake. So please be sure to use flower spikes to place any wired flowers or roses or leaves on your cakes. So now you know that you have to place flower spikes for any wired flower or roses. Do not place them directly onto your cake. Florist tape is not food grade. And to make your cake look pretty, you do not need so many flowers or roses if you don't want to. I'm placing these because I want a lot of flowers and roses on this cake, but it is not really necessary. Do your own decoration. There is no right or wrong way of placing any decoration on your cake. You be yourself and you decorate your cake the way you want to. And so here is the final product. As you can see, I've used a lot of the flowers and the roses because I wanted to, like I said before. But, you know, as long as you have fun decorating, that's what counts. Well, this has been all for today's tutorial. Thank you for being with me during this tutorial. I had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I've dedicated this cake to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. Please share and subscribe, and if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. And don't forget that you can learn how to make these flowers by following the link that I have placed in the information window of this video. These flowers are all made with gum paste, and they are very easy to make. Thanks again, and I will see you back here soon with another tutorial. Until then, God bless you and have a wonderful day.